You know that feeling when you're learning a new language and there's just that one sound you can't get right no matter how many times you try? It is such a common struggle. But what if you had a personal coach? One that could listen, instantly figure out your mistake, and show you exactly how to fix it. Well, today, we're diving into how researchers are building precisely that, using AI to crack the code of pronunciation. This is going to be fascinating. Let's get into it.
Right? It's a question pretty much every language learner on the planet has asked. You know the word, you know what it means, but your mouth just refuses to cooperate and make the right sound. Well, it turns out the answer often has everything to do with the language you already speak. So to really get this, we're going to zoom in on one specific challenge that perfectly highlights the problem for literally millions of learners.
A really cool study from 2023 zeroed in on the specific pronunciation hurdles faced by native Arabic speakers who are learning English. And the key word here, the one you really got to pay attention to, is systematic. These aren't just random mistakes. Nope, they are predictable patterns of errors that pop up over and over again.
So why are the errors so predictable? Well, the researchers put it perfectly. They said the errors depend on the learner's mother tongue. And that just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Your brain is so hardwired for the sounds of your native language that it tries to cram these new, unfamiliar sounds into the old system. And that's what creates these very specific, recurring mistakes.
Okay, so what do these errors actually sound like? The researchers didn't just guess. They collected a ton of data. Let's dig into the specifics and see what they found.
All right, take the English p sound, like in the word paper. The data was pretty shocking. A staggering 2/3 of the students in the study replaced that p sound with a b sound. And this happens because certain sounds in English just don't really exist in the same way in Arabic, which leads to this super common substitution.
And here you can see exactly what that sounds like. Instead of saying paper, the common error sounds a lot more like baber. It feels like a tiny change, but it can make a big difference in how clear you sound, and it's a perfect example of that mother tongue influence we were just talking about.
Here's another great one, the ch sound, or TCH, like in the word church. The study found that more than half the students softened this sound into a sh sound, or SHS.
So the word church was often coming out sounding more like shirsh. See the pattern? A hard, unfamiliar sound gets swapped out for a softer, more familiar one. And once you can map these errors, you can start to build a tool to actually fix them.
Knowing the problem is half the battle, right? But now for the really cool part, building the solution. So let's talk about the AI pronunciation coach. The researchers' goal was, well, pretty ambitious, but it was crystal clear. They wanted to build an automated system that could listen to a student, pinpoint these exact errors in real time, and give immediate, accurate feedback. You know, no more waiting around for a teacher or just wondering if you're getting it right.
So how does this magic work? It's actually a really elegant 4-step process. First, the AI just listens to the student speak. Then, it gets technical. It breaks the words down into their tiniest building blocks, these individual sounds called phonemes. Third, and this is the amazing part, a machine learning model analyzes each tiny sound and classifies it, correct or incorrect. And finally, boom, it gives instant feedback, showing the learner exactly what went wrong and how to fix it.
So the theory sounds great, but the real test, the big question is, does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at the results.
So the researchers tested a few different kinds of machine learning models to see which one was the best at catching these mistakes. And you know what? They all performed incredibly well. Every single one was over 90% accurate. But you can see right there, one model, the decision tree on the far right, just pulled ahead as the clear winner.
And that brings us to this number right here. The top AI model was able to correctly identify pronunciation errors with 98.2% accuracy. Just think about that for a second. That is near perfect. It's almost always right.
So the takeaway here is pretty straightforward. The experiment was a huge success. The team proved that you can absolutely build an automated AI that acts as a super effective and incredibly accurate personal pronunciation coach. A 98% success rate is amazing. But what does this really mean for how we all learn? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture.
The impact here is really threefold. First, for learners, getting that instant, private, personalized feedback can be a massive game changer for building confidence. For teachers, it frees them up from doing repetitive drills so they can focus on more complex stuff like grammar or conversation. And honestly, for all of us, this kind of tech helps improve the voice assistants on our phones and our cars, making them way better at understanding the huge diversity of accents around the world.
And all of this brings us to one last big question. We've seen that AI can be a powerful coach for something as personal and human as how we speak. So it really makes you wonder, if AI can help us perfect an accent, what's the next complex human skill, from playing the guitar to giving a great speech, that it's going to help us master?